We're at Shelford! Yay! My dog's being left behind. Come on! Catch up! Good boy! It is Saturday today, and welcome to another eventing vlog. So we're eventing tomorrow, and we've got quite relaxed times, but Shelford's one of our local events, so we've come for a wander around today just to have a nice day out. And we've gone out for a coffee, which was nice, and I shall now show you the course. So starting in a slightly different spot now. Show dumping's over there, and Lorry Park is like well behind in the hedge. Starbucks, Felix, and a nice run up to fence number 1, please. Here's the welcoming committee to wish us a good ride round. Everyone's doing great except for this guy. He's recovering from having a nose job, and I think he's regretting it. Anyway, here's fence 1. Really exciting, that. Best not have problems at it after saying that. And on to 2. Just approaching fence number 2. So these fences are just about confidence and getting them into a rhythm. Maggie should know plenty well enough about being confident out on the cross country and getting swiftly into a rhythm because she's experienced enough. But we're not taking that for granted, because I did fall off at Newmarket. That's the one. As I fall over my dog, Newmarket. I haven't actually put that vlog out. I never edited it. But yeah, I fell off at fence 3, so we don't take anything for granted out on the cross country. And then here we're coming to number 3, and if you're on a green horse or a spooky horse, there's quite an eyeful because there's all the decorations. Sponsored by EcoVolts. Mum's got an EcoVolts and she loves it. And you notice our pipe's just a little bit on the angle, so realistically just testing your straightness. I'll be aiming for the sticky uppy pipe in the middle and just hoping she stays square and gallops away. And next we've got this nice little box. I wouldn't have called it little not so long ago, but now I'm quite used to walking novices, or getting used to walking novices. This looks little and inviting in comparison, and it looks like it's related to the hedge over there. So I think it's going to just be a case of let this jump in a galloping sort of a travelling canter, and then move on up to your hedge. So just the other side of the hedge now, and as you can see there's a bit of an eyeful again if you end up with anything green or spooky to go through. It's quite nice because it's a bit like practicing a bigger event, and then obviously we're jumping the box over there and then popping over this hedge. I find that sometimes they can be a bit spooky jumping stuff in a hedge line, so it's quite good practice for them, but the hedge is inviting. Then you got to go around this loop. I always try and let them gallop on round this loop, because then you've got another hedge over there to pop over. And here we go, coming around this loop, so I'd be keeping my right leg on to make sure they bring their shoulders round and get nice and square. Possibly nicer for the metre than the 90, because I've got almost a little bit of an owl hole effect, but these aren't huge. I almost wish the brush was a bit bigger to get them more up in the air, but Maggie will be quite careful over these anyway because she is, whereas Donut all probably would clink the post and rail. Then we're heading off over there. Again, nothing massively scary or imposing. Using the ground slightly, it's pretty flat here, so there's not much ground to use, but tiny bit of a slope on the other side. Not that you can particularly see it. Pop over it, let them sort their feeties out, and then head on over to the water. And as we're heading over here, it's a little bit into no man's land where there's no roping, nothing. I can see by the colour of the flag that we're heading down the ramp into the water. And I'm not worried about Maggie, I hope. But I actually think this will be a challenge for a young horse or a green horse, because you're going to be turning away from the other horses in the show jumping and the warm-up, which is just over that grass, and then heading down the slope into the water. So I think we'll find quite a lot of horses napping over here if they get the opportunity. Around this tree, and it's a good excuse to nap. Oh, here's Loki's friend. Hi! And then it's down the slope, so it really makes them look down at where their feet are going. And then hopefully they'll have got over their napping by the time they get here, and then there's a nice amount of time to jump over that. I don't intend on having Maggie napping. This way, looks, don't get your feet dirty. But I do think we'll see that especially in the 80 and the 90, just where horses kind of go. My friends are back there. I don't really want to go through this water. I'd rather go see them. So yeah, get them through the water, leg on, and then pop out up over this. Nothing too scary with that. There's a toy down there. You want to get away from the water, you'll notice I've come over here, because you wouldn't want to just ride over straight from where the fence is leading you, because we're heading to the trachea, so we want to give them a little bit of space. Unless the time's ridiculously tight, in which case we might slice in slightly. But yeah, I'll be bringing her over here to gallop a nice straight line, then get a square turn down to this trachea. And here's the trachea, very inviting one in my opinion, but still to be respected. This little ditch. Pop on and go away. A nice little loggy let-up fence. Got a nice ground line on it, so we can just travel on up and then carry on travelling. There's not usually much galloping here, but because they've not put anything down this line, you can get a bit of a motor on, which is nice. I come into the dark, so that's always a consideration for your horse, if its eyes have to adjust. If it's a dull day like today, it's not so hard. If it's a bright day, just give them a moment to adjust. Then we've got to wiggle our way down this hollow, and then they're always helpful and shove something in the way for the meter to make you go around it, so you can't just jump this palisade on an angle. It's quite upright, so it's good to set up, and then you pop out into the light, depending on how sunny it is. I do actually think we're forecast a thunderstorm as I go around tomorrow, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen. If it does, we'll deal with it. Again, another nice table is a let-up fence. Make sure you got their eyes on the job, because we have got some flags, but they should be really settling into their stride now and cracking on and just getting on with the job at hand. So these are good tables. Get them up in the air. We're looping around here for this little combination. You'll be using your left leg to turn them with the outside shoulder, and looks nice. You can just line it up, just a roll top to a skinny roll top. 3, 4, 2, 3. Yeah, just a nice 2 strides, and then galloping on away. For tomorrow is just to actually let her settle into a stride and just run at her own pace. Now if that means we get time faults, we get time faults, but I've been trying some different styles of riding her and it's not been working. For dressage and show jumping it has, it's been great, but for the cross country she's really not settled to it. So the plan of action for tomorrow, I'm going to have to be really disciplined with myself, is just to put her into a stride, into a sort of gallop or a canter, and then leave her be until we're actually near the fence and I need to do something, and then leave her be. Whereas normally I think I'm overriding her a little bit. So that is going to be the aim, to do that and to see if she actually grows in confidence and if she's happier with not being micromanaged. So we'll see how that goes. And that's why it's quite nice that this course isn't, I say it's not too taxing. Very often the course can walk very soft here at Shelford and then it causes carnage. So I'm really not taking anything for granted, but by the same token, at her level of training and experience, she should jump around this fine. So we will see. Okay, so again, you can see what they've done building this course. It's a fairly basic course, but there's a lot to look at. So very, very educational for the horses, because this is what you start getting at the higher level. You go to a complex and there's loads to look at and they've got to focus on their jump. This is also fairly upright, fairly gappy, so you need to respect it. They've put stuff so you're not going to run out, but don't take it for granted. It's got mim clips on, so it's safe. If they catch the legs, it'll come down. And there's no penalties for that at national level. Yeah, so if you hit a mim clip at national level classes, you don't get penalised, but international, I think you get 11 penalties, so ideally don't go hitting them. Right, this is a bit beefier. That's good. Light into dark again, and a bit of a runaway of the ground, so that's probably the first real question on course. So that's good. It's a nice profile, so you can keep on riding forwards to it. If they do just tap the toes on it, it should be okay, in theory. We won't go hooning at it like a lunatic, but it's got a bit of a ground line. And then down the slope, and then, yeah, that's a bit of a question too, because there's trees behind it. So by now we know how to ride up a slope. We go punchy, 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 keep hold of the front end, keep your leg on. And actually, it's quite small when you get to it. That may be a bit choppy. We're heading into the magic mushroom section, or maybe if I actually talk about the sponsors of the fence, Animal Intex. They've had plenty of money off of me when poulticing Donutty. Here we've got 2 logs. This used to be like palisade to a step up, and it was horrible. But I did kind of like it because it was a challenge. But it looks quite nice. Obviously they've got a lot to see, a bit like I was saying earlier. Shall we walk the strides? 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I actually know how many that was. I think it was 4. 4 travelling strides. If they back off, you'll add 5. 17 A, B, and this ditch can cause havoc. I've had to stop at it in the past with Maggie. As I stop approaching it. It's actually very shallow, but quite broad. Not broad compared to what we did at Aston the other day. And just straight on to this. Few strides in theory. They might chip one end depending on how they go over the ditch. Skinny and fairly wide, but fairly okay. It's not much of a different question for the 90. And then the 80 just does no ditch. Good boy. And a nice table. The nice people at Oakham that saved Maggie's life a few years ago. Not days, feels like days sometimes. And the nice brush to finish. Which can look big, but jumps really nice because obviously just like a steeplechase fence. There we go. So the big challenge tomorrow is going to be seeing if my theory is correct on Maggie, if I need to leave her be, or whether that's a very bad idea. We will find out in due course. The other thing I like to do is check out the warm-up fences. So at Aston there was a couple you could string together. You can't do that here. They're all just in a line. I don't know if I'll have this one in it or not, or whether they'll take it out and just have those 2 for me to, I don't know. So to warm up, I'll probably just pop a couple because she'll have warmed up already for the show jumping. So she won't need to do loads. Pop a couple, then probably pop one close to the left flag, pop one close to the right flag, and then pop them on the ankle. I try not to jump too much in the warm up for the cross country because she's done a dressage warm up, done a show jumping warm up, and it's just not required. So basically it's just get them moving forward, have a bit of a blast around the arena, pop a few to check the accuracy and the angles and the likes, and then say happy days, thank you very much, we'll go cross country. I would do a bit more in the warm up with something young or green because they need to sort of remember about solid fences. In theory, Maggie should know. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I feel like it's gonna rain on me all day long. Ugh. Okay, well, it's better than my forecast told me it would be, to be fair, so let's stop complaining, but it has just been throwing it down. Can't really tell. And we are heading off eventing in 45 minutes, so with forecast thunderstorms. Come on then, baby ponies. Not even Red running over now. Come on! That's it! Can't get this gate open. There we go, it's open. Yeah, forecast thunderstorms today, which is fun. And I've just decided I'm going to grab the horses in because it's meant to be nice weather by tonight. So we can just stand in while Maggie and I are out of the thunderstorms. And yeah, I need to plait her. It's 7:15. We're leaving at 8. I need her plaited before we leave. Come on, Princess Pony! And they're all just stood at the far end of the field. You're not being helpful. Come on! She says, I need a wee first. Oh, Flinty. You are good. You are the good one. Good boy. Come on! I swear, when I'm not that fussed in having her in, she's there at the gate. When I want her in, she makes me work for it. Come on, Princess Pony. But you can see she's much better to catch this time of year. I think I mentioned it last time. When she's naughty to catch, it's always spring. You're naughty to catch in spring, aren't you? The end of winter. Good girl. Right, we need to go eventing, honey. I know you've forgotten what it is because it's like over 6 weeks since you last went, but we've got places to be. There we go. That is the ginger pear lasso, and on their way in, I'll come back down with Mum to fetch Red and Flint in. Because obviously Red isn't leading with anybody else yet because Red's only just learnt how to be led. That's Flint whinnying to us. Some of you might say, oh, they're not made of sugar, they can get wet, and I agree. But Donut does end up shivering when it starts raining and he's not used to it. And I don't really like it when I'm out. And it's good practice for Red to learn to stand in. So, yeah, it's good to stand in and good to get Flinty off the grass because it is a lush at the minute. You can see how much growth there is where it's not mown. They're getting a lot of grass at the moment, which is great for this guy. All right for Maggie because she gets a lot of work, but Flinty does need a break off it every so often. There we go. He's little reddykins. He's much better at being led than when he arrived. It's not taken much to teach him, to be fair. A session of drawing up and he's so respectful, which is good. He's a good boy. And to add that he's getting in a bit more of a routine and he's a bit more settled here as well now. That's the other bit. You're a good boy, aren't you? Being led on your head collar. Hey? And go have some time stood in like a big boy and get worked when I get back. He says, oh yes, I like work. Then pretty, are you ready to get beautiful? Good girlie.
Like a light, lighting up in the dark. You make it right, I forgot how to act. It's so classic. Every time you make me nervous and I lose my words. It's been a while since I forgot the most simple words.
You can walk.
Like nothing can break me.
Around this way. Right then, we are here. Maggie has her quarter marks and her saddle in. We're packed in. We're right next to Holly's lorry, who we bought Maggie off of, which is funny. So we've had a quick chat with her, because not seen her for ages. I've put my waterproof breeches on to try and fend off the rain. Hopefully it doesn't rain now. And I'm going to get ready and we'll go do dressage. Here we go. All ready. And in good time actually. Just need to pop her bridle on. Maggie, show everybody what you've done to your nose, sweetie. So, you can't see it that well because the cream's on it at the minute, but she had some scabs on it where I need to go get the buttercups out of the field because somebody is so super sensitive. You okay? Bless you. Oh dear. Don't go swallowing hay or flies or anything like that. But no, she's obviously gone and eaten where the buttercups are, and she's got such a sensitive nose. She's got scabs on it, but she's got one down there, and then I think she's got in the lorry and squawked the scabs off, and now it's all sore, isn't it? Good girl. She says it's actually quite itchy. Yes, I can. Yeah, so we're having to put cream on it, and I don't quite know how that works with blood rule because it is a little bit bleedy, but it's not from anything other than...
It's not bleeding, it's just raw.
It's very red. Poor Maggie.
Let's just take the scab off.
Poor Maggie.
Keep your nozzle.
But it's not going to hurt her to be riding around this, so we'll go and ask the stewards and find out. Right, shall we get ready? Look at her. What's in there? You good girl. Actually running a little bit early and don't quite know what to do with myself. Good girl. Are they pretty? She says they're very pretty. These are how our plats turned out. Got a bit of hay up there. Did put them in a hurry. They're all right. Good girl. Little nose. Got studs in. Oh, I could clean my boots, couldn't I? That'd be a good idea. Just with that, we're relieved we've got extra time because I've just looked down. Mum was on pack loading duty. And I've just realised Donut's bridle. This is Donnie's bridle. But Mum says she's put another bit in that Maggie used to go in. So
Well, if not,
we'll
I
pop
can
that
put her
on.
into
her what?
cavesson.
Yeah, she'll be fine in this bridle, but she can't wear her jumping bit, so
No.
I'll change the bit. Thank goodness we have this. She used to go in this bit anyway. Good girl. Okay, here is Maggie's warm-up. She knows Shelford quite well and she's quite chilled out about the situation. She does know the drill when it comes to eventing these days because she's done it on and off for quite a few years. So you can see the canter work looks fairly nice. Everything looks fairly sweet. I did some leg yield work. I did some bending work just to soften and supple her. And she's being really compliant. She's got her tail lifted, doing a little bit of leg yield this way, and she's getting on with the job quite well. I thought she came out fairly well warmed up from the previous day. I did think she was a little bit quieter than she was the previous day, but by the same token I just sort of let her tick along and work quite nicely and do lots of transitions. So here just doing a trot walk trot, really keeping it simple, keeping her sort of soft and happy. I'm not trotting, I'm just walking, and trying just to have a really nice day out with her and enjoy it. And she looks fairly happy. So then we head off into the actual test, and we spent quite a while trotting around the edge here. You can see she's in a good frame. She's a little bit more forwards. What I did feel was, especially looking at this in retrospect, she just doesn't look as flashy or as sort of... She's flowing, she's forward and she's flowing, but everything looks a bit low to the ground. I guess that's the best way to describe it. There's Holly going past, who's parked next to us. We must have really similar times. And you can just see occasionally she's slightly argumentative as well. And she's tracking up, but she's not massively over-tracking. It's just everything's okay, I'd say. And while I was just trotting around the edge, what I was doing was keeping in a good frame, and then I was just doing a little bit of shoulder fore, a little bit of bending, etc., just to let her settle in. You can see she sort of went a little bit against my inside hand, so I put a little bit of extra inside leg on. The bell rang for the other arena, so I was just looking around to check that it wasn't my bell. And then I think this was my last lap round. Sometimes if I want to keep them switched on, I'll do a trot, walk, trot. Here I've brought her back, and I think I've started bending her to the outside and then back to the inside again. Just really wanting to keep her switched on so that she's not falling asleep as she trots around the edge. She's got to sort of be awake, alert, her body's got to be mobile, and then she's ready to come down. And I've just increased the right bend in preparation for that turn down the centre line, using as much space as I can, and then making the turn to aim to be straight. Now, I don't know if it's because Mum's not standing directly behind A, or whether it's because I wasn't behind the centre line. I'm not quite sure, but it didn't look like I was quite on it, although I got a 7 from the judge with straight entry. So then I trotted around the edge, and at E I had to turn left, and this move got a 7 as well. Then we went straight on to a 15-metre circle left from X. We then 15-metre circle right at X when we reached it. We got a 6.5 for the first circle because I made it a little bit too large. 15-metre circles really are my nemesis. They're really hard work. I just can't seem to get the size of them quite right sometimes, no matter how much I practice. Second one, we got a 7 with better size. And then we turned right. And as we came into the FA corner, we did a working canter transition right. And you can see she just goes a little bit hollow and a little bit argumentative with a flicky ears. And I just thought it was a bit strange because that's just not like Maggie, although we have been getting a bit of that in the test. But we got a 7 with obedient transition, so I thought the judge was fairly kind there. Onto a 20-metre circle in the middle, and we got another 7 with rhythmic. And you definitely can't say there's anything majorly wrong with this test, but by the same token, I know we can do better. So a trot transition down at the bottom end and walk at C. So we got 7 for both of those and active steps for the medium walk. Then we come across the diagonal and change the rein, free walk on a long rein. She's stretching quite well, but she can stretch better. We've definitely seen better. I did keep her steps slightly less active because she's been a bit prone to jogging lately. And we got a 6.5 with I don't know what the first word is, but I think it's probably that they wanted more activity, but fair stretch. Then you had to do a halt at A, and I was probably a stride short of actually getting at A because we wanted my body level. And it was a halt for 4 seconds, then proceed a medium walk. She did an excellent square halt. We just weren't accurate on the placing, good immobility, and a good strike move off. So we got a 7 for that with not at A, but square and good immobility. Then we trotted down the edge, and again the same with the counter transition, just a bit flicky. And I didn't know if it was because obviously we weren't in her normal bit. She normally has quite a wide mouthpiece on her bit these days, or quite what, but she definitely was a little bit just inconsistent in the contact where she wouldn't usually be. So with that canter transition, we still got a 7, which was very generous, and a 7 for the canter circle, 6.5 for down the centre line with balance to trot and straightness, which is absolutely correct because she swang, and then a 6.5 for the halt because she wasn't square. Okay, dressage done. We've been waiting around a little while because the 90s are running first, so I think we're just waiting for changeover from 90 show jumping to meter. She was a very good girl. She's, as I showed you before, she's got this really sensitive nose, and from where she's rubbed her scabs off on the hay net, which isn't very helpful. And then I didn't have her bridle because I didn't check what was in the catalogue. My mum had accidentally picked donuts up, so she was in a much thinner bit than usual. So I was just getting a bit of flicking of her nose, just where she wouldn't usually, because the bit was obviously a bit sharper, and she's used to a wider mouthpiece these days. But that's fine. I think we got a 31 dressage, so I'm pleased with that. Don't know where it leaves us in the section, but realistically today we are here with the aim of doing, obviously getting around the other phases, but going clear cross country. 1 for her confidence and my confidence, and 2 to get our qualification back for novice once we're ready, because we lost it with getting eliminated twice in a row, didn't we? She says, yes. So that is the aim of the day. So I'm about to tuck her up for jumping.
It's a new day for a high. It's another day to try to get by. And ooh, yeah, I'm feeling now every second, every hour of the day. Yeah. It's a new day for a high.
So number 202, Donna.
Yeah.
Actually, Blue Ellen Smith. Very well done.
It's a new day for good times. I just turn the page, let it write what it likes. And ooh, yeah, I feel it now. Every atom in my body feels okay. Yeah. It's a new day for good times. Flying like I'm weightless, yeah, I'm losing all my senses, and it's making it impossible to die. Everything's in motion, yeah, I'm lost in the commotion, and I've never ever felt so freaking
And then this is the point at which that I fall off, which I'm not showing because every time I watch that fall, I think more and more how pathetic it was that I fell off. Not that Maggie did anything majorly wrong. She just moved sideways slightly quickly. I don't think I've ever had a more pathetic fall than that. I literally just came off out the side door for no good reason. But you can see from that show jumping and cross country warm up and start on the cross country, she was just getting flatter and flatter. And like the show jumping wasn't bad, but by the same token, we weren't on a terrible stride, and she still had a fence down. And it's just not like her, and she just wasn't springy and adjustable, and she wasn't Maggie's usual self. And like that fall, I would usually laugh about, but actually I feel quite sensitive about it at the moment because I'm really worried about Maggie, and I thought that I'd done all of the management bits, and I really thought I got to the bottom of this, but I haven't. So it's actually Wednesday now. I've not long got back from the vet hospital. Maggie, I've dropped her off at Newmarket Equine Hospital. I rang up first thing yesterday morning and they managed to sort us out a appointment for this morning, and I've been there with them and they've already done a trot up and lunge and the likes. We've done some bits here, and basically I've just asked them to do a full loss of performance workup, so not only look at any lameness aspects but also to do sort of blood work, scoping, any health and internal bits, do all the checks for those, as well as, you know, sort of musculoskeletal physical workup. So that's where she is. We've only just got home, and I can't say that I've been sleeping very well the last few nights, especially with what's happened this weekend as well with the tragic accident at Bicton. It's sort of, I don't know, we were on such a high with eventing and we've been going so well, but Maggie's been sort of tickling along, niggling away, and I've been a little bit worried about her, but I really have been trying so hard to make sure that she's comfortable and happy, but it's become very apparent that that's sort of beyond my control at this stage. I need extra diagnostics to find out what's going on and what we need to do about it. I never posted my eventing videos from Burnham Market just because actually I felt like it was a very educational day for me, that I needed to take some stuff on board, and actually I was trying to deal with that in private, and to a certain extent I could have quite happily done that with this video, but then that's not showing the highs and lows of the sport. So just know I'm feeling slightly delicate about everything and slightly gutted that I've not gone to the vet sooner, but then by the same token it's that thing, hindsight is so much easier to know what you would have done when you're looking back. And when I'm looking at those videos, she felt flat in the jumping, particularly flat in the cross country warm up. I was looking at them and I just thought, I just wish I'd withdrawn, but it's very easy to say that having known what happened. Whereas on the day I was sort of second guessing myself, thinking, you know, is it me who feels flat? Is it this? Is it that? And does she just need a nice confidence giving run? But you can see I go out the start box trying to sort of encourage her, tell her she's clever, let her go, and she's not interested. And I'd say I've changed a load of things. I felt that at Burnham Market I was riding her a little bit too decisively, a bit too strongly, and maybe she was feeling like I was micromanaging her and overriding a little bit too much. So I came out riding very soft at Shelford to sort of give her a completely different riding style. I've given her a complete overhaul on her management at home to try and make sure that everything is really as stress-free as it could possibly be. I've changed her training. I've done a load of bits where I'd identified stuff that I wanted to rule out at Burnham Market, and I would have sort of got to this answer a lot sooner if it wasn't for the fact that Solihull abandoned. But as they abandoned before badminton, it was a bit like, well, we've got to wait. And she's been training well at home, but what I do think seems to happen is she deteriorates as the day goes on. So when I train her at home, I get on her, I go and do a bit, and she seems fine. When I go out schooling, she's possibly not as amazing, but still plenty good enough. You know, nothing that can really ring alarm bells, but she's only doing one phase. Whereas by the time you go to the cross-country phase out eventing, you've done your dressage warm-up, your dressage test, your show jumping warm-up, your show jumping round, your cross-country warm-up, and then you're out on cross-country. And it's a lot more time-consuming. It's a lot more effort for them, and stress potentially. And I think that's sort of where we're really getting to that crunch point where Maggie just says, I'm not doing it, I'm not happy. So like I say, I wish that she could talk and I could have known this sooner, but I have every single step of the way been trying to make sure that I've been making the right decision by her, but obviously there's something not quite right. So I have asked them to run some very specific tests to make sure they do it, including a gastroscope for her. She was scoped as a 5 or 6 year old and she had perfect tummy, but I know that since then there has been a lot going on, including having colic surgery and losing her best friend Titan, and she got her splint last year and we've moved house, so she's had lots of stressful situations that could have, despite my best efforts to manage her very well for ulcers, I tried to manage all of them in a very good manner to prevent ulcers. She may have ended up with ulcers with all of that going on because, you know, I'm not God. I'm only human and I can only do what I can do. So I've asked them to do that. I've asked them to run some certain blood tests as well. And I stayed while they did the lameness workup. So I've already got a little bit of an idea. She's going to be staying down there for a few days so you can get a really good insight. I really trust them down at Newmarket Equine Hospital. I trust my GP vet as well, but this is so fine-tuned, and the vet that we're using, her consultant, he said, you know, this is the hard stuff. It's easy when they rock up and they're hopping lame on one leg, but when there's nothing majorly obvious and there's some little niggles here and there, it's much harder to sort of pinpoint what the thing is that's making it difficult. So that's the job I've tasked them with doing. I'm sorry if I feel I seem a bit downbeat, but yeah, I'm just worried about Maggie right now, but I know she's in the best place. We're going to get some answers. We're going to have answers by the end of the week. I'm not faffing about and waiting forever. I want to know now, and if she needs extra testing, she's going to have it. You know, she's excluded on her insurance for scoping since her colic surgery, but I don't care. I'll pay for that, by hook or by crook. Anyone want some foot pictures? No. Okay, sorry, bad joke. But anyway, yeah, I'll be paying for that just because I need the peace of mind of knowing that's not going on. When I'm watching her videos, I can see she doesn't look like she's particularly flexing in the middle. And, you know, is that down to her scar from her colic surgery? Who knows? She's in the best place with the experts to go and figure that out, and I will be guided by them, and I've given them all the information I possibly can, and we'll go from there. So hopefully we'll be back on track soon. Who knows if it's going to be a long-term recovery, short-term recovery, whatever recovery, I really don't know at this stage, and I'm not about to go and try and second guess it, and I'd really rather nobody else goes and tries to second guess it, because until you have the mare stood in front of you and all of the test results, none of us know. So I don't really want to speculate right here and now, but I just felt that I should show every element of the sport. And no, eventing's not easy. Horse life is not easy. They can't talk. They are incredible athletes, but their bodies are incredibly fragile. And we have to spend a lot of time working very hard to keep them in the right place and keep them healthy and happy, whether that's mentally or physically or everythingly. And, you know, if you're going through something similar, just know that you're not alone. I am so proud of Donut, and he's been going so amazingly, and I've had some really amazing times with Maggie at home in the last few weeks where she's been feeling really incredible, and obviously historically she's been going really incredibly, but right now we're in a blip. And it happens, and the pathway is not linear. It is literally like so many peaks and troughs, and I'm hoping that we're getting down to the base of our trough and we're back on our ascent to some good times where Maggie's just feeling a little bit better, hopefully. So please join me in wishing Maggie well, and she will be very much better soon. I am sure we are going to will it to happen, because it's not nice for her. She must be feeling a little bit naff, so I've been giving her lots of cuddles, giving her lots of love, and we should be back on track soon enough. I will add in the video of my fall from Burnham Market just to finish off. You're not getting to see the video at Shelford because I'm too embarrassed. Quite simply, I did a very, very bad job of being sat in balance there, and yeah, it's not happening. I'm not sharing it, but you can see my one at Burnham Market. And with that, I say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.